Welcome to this week's episode of Chapters Over Coffee, where two sisters discuss a book. We are going over pages 151 through 198, and we're in a race against time, so let's get into it.
All right, we open up this chapter with the storm clearing out, um, along with their chance of finding the portal. If you remember the last chapter or so, um, the storm hit fucking not really unexpectedly, but the things that happened were fucking unexpected. And basically, she lost the ring, like one of their only chances at being able to find the portal. The villages were torn apart by winds. They were described as hands dropping from the sky, scraping away everything in their path. There were creatures that had been spotted attacking villagers, bodies not being able to, like, not be recovered basically from those attacks. Um, she's feeling that Azul was right about a storm coming unlike any this world had ever seen, and even more desperate to kind of find the portal and close it before everything gets worse. Um,
Speaking of Portal, I think I have a small theory, but I don't want to get into it just
I
yet
do
because
too.
it ties into the last chapter that we stopped at.
Okay. Do you think it's there?
I think it's an object that's in that room. Either that or it has a very, very major part.
I think it's on the place.
See, I thought it was the
I
object
think it's on
in
the
the
place,
room.
and I feel like she might have killed her parents.
Oh, oh.
And I think that's why Tara and Poppy took the blame.
She used her emotions. If she killed her parents, her emotions.
It happened right after she was born, and maybe that's why they pushed so hard for her to know that she was powerless.
Maybe she
Like,
wasn't
what if she
powerless.
did it?
What if she wasn't
Oh,
powerless,
no.
but they did something to
I don't
lock her
know.
powers? Did
But
they
I
have
feel like if
somebody?
it didn't involve her, they'd be like, "Look, bitch, we didn't fucking kill your parents," like, something else did. Instead of saying, "We didn't kill your parents, it wasn't us," and, like, they won't come out and tell her. Yes, I get that she's not giving them the chance to say anything by immediately cutting them off and calling them liars because they lied to her entire life, and I fucking understand that. But why are they not trying harder to defend themselves if it wasn't her that did it?
That's a good theory. That
It's her.
See, but and that's what I'm saying. Like, maybe
I
like
hope it's
being
not.
young, she used like her powers, like, because she is power. She is power. So maybe something happened to where
Yeah,
she
because he even
unleashed
says,
it,
"Your blood is power." Like, you've never been powerless. Like,
right?
she might not have had,
Um,
like, physical powers to do anything, but what if,
what if they
like,
took her to have something done to weave her powers?
I don't know, but
That's a
I
good
feel like she's
theory.
involved somehow.
That is a good theory.
Or we find out that Ashley is full of shit and she fucking found him and killed him and her mom for betraying that. I don't
I
fucking know,
mean,
but I'm still listen, I want her to have
again,
family, but I am a little sketch feeling about Astria.
because
Um,
listen,
but we haven't had a lot of interactions with her. So maybe I'm just like the whole fucking Celeste thing blew up in my face. So I don't want to be like, oh my God,
Marin.
she has a cousin, blah blah
So,
blah.
again, I've said this in a past podcast. She needs to pick better friends. She's got some
She's
bad
a
luck
horrible
with.
magnet. Yeah. She's a magnet for people.
Yes. But I won't get into my little theory till later, but I think it's an object. But I like your theory on the parents. That is a
I
really
don't know,
good.
that okay, so that's my unhinged theory this far into the book. I didn't have one going into the book, but I don't know, especially after them saying again that they didn't do it, but they're not giving her a reason to really, believe
But
that they didn't do it.
uh later on though, it's confirmed, no? Doesn't at one point she use the flare? Does she use the flare? I know she thought about like she could use it. Did I maybe it was in my mind I thought
Did
she
you
went
read
back and
further
used
on?
no.
I don't know, I'm blanking.
I kinda am too.
I skipped 2 more pages again. I skipped
Girl!
something. I don't know. I'm sure that I'll remember. I don't have my book in
I
front of me. I left it out
swear.
there. I
Okay,
know they talked
because
about flares
maybe
because they discussed, like, her dad's flare and
yes.
stuff more. So, we also know that Wraith is still recovering at this point because he got pretty tore up,
Right.
during the last storm, and she feels that Grim has to suspect that she's been with Oro. She
No
is
doubt.
wondering. Oh, yeah. I'm sure he can, like, smell it on her. Like, I have no doubt that he can, like, smell it on her.
Well, I
I'm
mean,
sure the moment he felt her skin being warm
the
was
stitches.
maybe not her. Well, oh, for sure. For sure that. But, like, when she portaled to his room and he made the comment that her skin was warm, the just the way that that moment was kind of, like, not a typical type of body warmth that he has felt from her. Was not normal at all,
No.
almost like yeah, like she was with him type thing. Um, so, of course, she's wondering if he thinks that she had been going back and forth the entire time, wondering if he would think that she was a traitor, just like Nightshade, had warned of her to him. So her thoughts are rolling right now. She's not able to sleep, so she portals back to the rooftop. Of course, Saoirse's already there waiting and tells Isla that the storm had destroyed the home that she grew up in. And we learn that like all of her family is dead. Some of them were taken by the curses, others were taken by the storms, and the house was all that she had left. I think they dilly dally on the rooftop maybe a little bit longer, but they end up going to the bar. People are obviously talking shit about the upcoming ceremony, making comments about her and Grimm, saying that they heard rumors that the marriage was fake. They can't like tolerate being around each other, and somebody else says, "Oh, we'll see soon enough." Um, we also find out that just because there was the storm, they're not canceling the wedding. They're going to keep everything rolling just as planned. Everybody's morale is really low. Um, so all of the talk, of the storm was replaced by talk of the wedding. And okay. At this point, days are passing by. There's no storms. She's looking for the ring. She can't find it. She goes out every night doing her thing. Um, and she goes out this one night and I kind of liked this moment between them, but it's another like look at the level that they're on with each other versus like the level her and Oro are not on with each other. So she's tracking this guy. He killed his wife and he is supposedly this extremely powerful wielder. So she has to sneak up behind him to kind of catch him off guard, or she's not going to be able to do anything because obviously she has blocked her abilities. So she gets the upper hand. She goes at him, able to get him against the wall. She plunges her blade through his windpipe so he can't even scream, but he is still able to produce a shadow, and it's described as being like sharp as a sword. So I'm like shadow weapons is kind of like, I guess, how I kind of pictured it. And he's still too strong for her, and she's unable to do it herself that way. So she decides, obviously, she's going to go for the heart, because I think we kind of learned that she wants to switch it up a little bit
Mm-hmm.
because she doesn't really want to be known as Heart Ripper.
Mm-hmm.
And so she forces her blade through his chest, but it's still not enough. Sure as shit, there's fucking hubby just lurking in the fucking shadows, and
Oh,
he's
I'm
right fucking behind her. She like backs into him or whatever, or he like gets all up behind her ear, and he's like, gotta shove it right through, like a little harder than that, and
I'm
like
pretty
fucking
sure.
heart attack.
I'm pretty sure he's there for every single one. She just
Oh,
doesn't know
I
it.
yeah. Yeah, see, she's not letting that connection in to where she can like feel his presence, because every time, like, how many
Mm.
times have we had to where he's just kind of like,
Pops
"Oop,
up out
there
of
he is."
nowhere.
Yeah, like, he's always around her. He
Yep.
knows exactly where she's at. So, he helps her kill the guy, takes her hand, plunges it through his heart, and everything like that. He gets a little cocky, I feel, and says, "You didn't really think I didn't know what you were up to. Um, did you, a beautiful woman wearing snakes and killing wretched men with blades through their hearts, the heart ripper, that could only be my wife." So of course he would say something like that. And she's a little shocked, I guess. He doesn't fucking care what she's doing at this point.
And this is
Like,
what,
it's making her happy. It's keeping her, as he says, the beast at bay, whatever. Like, she's still doing something to like get it out of her system, to kind of like let her frustrations out. And it's Grim. He doesn't fucking care.
and this
Like,
is why what I say about between the difference between him and Oreo and like who she would kind of fit better with. Grimm's gonna let her be who she is. And to a certain extent, I don't think he'd let her get
mhm.
too out of hand, but he's gonna let her be who she is. Oro's not.
Yeah.
He's only gonna want to see the soft side of her. And now that she's had a taste of the other side, she's not gonna be able to keep that in. She's
Yeah.
not gonna be able to keep that in.
And I mean, it's part of her. It's like she's
Mm-hmm.
Nightshade. It's not like she's a sunling and just kind of figured out she's got a knack for killing or whatever. Like,
Mm-hmm.
she's wildling and Nightshade. So it's kind of like etched into her bones
Right.
to not really like be okay with that. Um he even tells her like, kill anybody you want, and kill me if it makes you feel better, and just thinking that, or him saying that, she thinks of the prophecy. And then they have their little moment. He turns her around and he grips her hips, and they're both covered in blood, and they're having like this like spicy moment and stuff. And he even tells her that he loves it when he can make her heart race, and like she wants more, but she knows it's wrong. She feels that it's an ultimate betrayal. But I thought it was sweet that he tells her, "As far as I'm concerned, you killed me the day you met me. I've never been the same. I'll see you at the altar tomorrow." And then he just fucking disappears. Like, are you
I
gonna get somebody
know,
bothered and then just fucking up and leave?
but that's what they're known to do to each other.
Yeah.
They play the cat mouse game. Like that's their thing.
Alright. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, so here we are. Wedding day. Not gonna lie, I kinda wanted more of, like, the original wedding, but I'll accept this one, I guess, because
I know.
all we got. So, we wake up, it's wedding day, and, of course, she's hoping for storms. She doesn't get them, because why not? Um, she thinks to herself that it's just to find, another chance to get the portal, but we know she doesn't wanna do it again. She knows it's like a sham. It's the first time a Nightshade ruler has ever taken a wife. Uh, she has a little group women, they come and they, like, do her up, do her hair, her makeup, jewelry on her. Uh, all she can think about is the way Grim removed her dress after the first
Mhm.
ceremony. We also learned that he gave her, like, a different dress this time to wear or whatever, or she picked out a different one. I don't know which one it was, but it was one of those.
Because she didn't want to wear the original one.
Yeah. Which that was my favorite moment
I
when
think
they
it's
were
more
going over
sacred.
all of the things. Um, she's really regretting, agreeing to this wedding. She knows that it's a huge mistake. It's getting way too easy to forget everything. Her dress sounded really pretty. It was black, strapless, with a tight bodice and tulle beneath the skirts, making it wider or like more poofy, and long black gloves that kind of like slipped over her bracelets and stuff and went past her elbows. And they kind of reminded her of Celeste, and they obviously reminded her of Oro and her little demonstration of her abilities with the throwing stars and knocking his crown off and all of that. So, of course, she's thinking of another man on her wedding day.
Shame, shame, shame.
Uh, Grim obviously sends Astria to her room. So she's got a little bit of like family and everything. And I'll give her props. Like this chapter, she really was there for Isla in a family capacity and everything. Even in the other chapter where she kind of like gave more information
Yeah.
and stuff about her dad. Like she did a good thing. Like, and I really liked that for them and especially for Isla because she has nothing. But I don't know.
It's hard to
I don't
judge
know.
people that
It
because
is,
everybody's turned out
especially.
wrong.
Mhm.
Like
Yep.
bad judgments.
Yeah. Yeah. Ashra even tries to kind of get a little playful with her and stuff and tells her that she looks painfully beautiful, but doesn't give her like an insult. But it was nice that Grim had sent her thinking that
Mhm.
Isla might want family there.
Grim knows.
Um, yeah. So she asks about the ceremonies for Nightshade weddings and stuff, and we learned that there's a hand ritual involved, the presentation of the necklaces, which is like their big custom. We learned before that once it is placed on, only death can like undo it.
Mhm.
They don't come off unless you're dead. And she realizes that she doesn't have anything for Grimm. And so Isla or Astria gives Isla like an heirloom chain from his family. I like how my talk to text was like Ashley. Like I didn't say Ashley. um and I thought where they did the ceremony was really sweet. By the little greenhouse and stuff
That
that
he
he
had
had built for
made.
her.
Yes.
Yep. And she describes it as like remembering that the Nightshade Castle had always made her feel like she was drowning in ink. Every surface was black, most windows had been built over during the curses, and the floors were gleaming sheets of dark marble. It felt like being underground, trapped without any sunlight or nature, but on its edge sat an orb of life that Grimm had built for her. He'd built her a greenhouse. Every shade and shape of flower bloomed before her, as a fountain sat at its center with a statue of a smiling woman holding her tiny dragon, flowers in her hair and between her fingers. And then, of course, Graham. Grimm was standing right in front of it with hundreds of people watching and judging, with even more outside. Like, I thought that was really sweet. Like, he's trying so hard,
He is.
and she's not having it whatsoever. Like, well, she is at times. I will give her that. She is at times like kind of,
Yeah. Like she knows.
yeah.
But I think she's afraid of going back to that. But I mean, what Oro do? Just train you with your wildling. That's about it. Like, that's,
Yeah.
that's kind of all he did. And coddle? Is that how you say that?
Coddled. Yeah.
He
He
coddled
coddled her.
her. That, like, he didn't
Yeah.
let her bloom.
He's just a baby. She even remembers when Grimm kind of presented the greenhouse to her as a wedding present. And I don't know if it was in this section or after the ceremony and stuff where they kind of like playfully remember how he thought that she didn't like it, and so he was prepared to kill all of the gardeners,
Oh, yes.
because of it, and she remembers the way he looked at her at their first ceremony, and he was looking at her the exact same way, and it's described as him looking at her like she was the beginning and end of his world, and so she takes his hands and hello, what is Miss Etta doing there? Like, when did he go find her? We don't even find that out. Did he
I
fucking go find
know.
her? Or is it one of those, because she makes a comment that this was a fated union, a partnership that was written. So, was it written that, like, she was gonna come down there and, um, like, do the
So
ceremony and stuff?
we didn't get much on that.
Yeah. So they go through the ceremony. Etta announces that now, officially, like a second time, but not everybody kind of got to experience it the first time, that they're bound until their last breath. And Isla places the chain on Grimm's neck, makes it official for everybody to see. But this time it's like official, official, because she presented Grimm with his necklace.
Yep.
So it's like official, official. This is kind of my next favorite, and I did kinda, like, quote some of the stuff from the book because I thought these were really sweet and kind of, like, shows the connection that he has with her that she's not willing to fully
Except.
accept. And she can fucking deny it all she wants, but she's, like, just not it's there. So they do their first little dance, and he asks if he made the right choice. And she tells him it's her favorite part of the castle and that she was touched. And so, okay, it was this section where they're dancing. And she said that she cried the first time she had seen it. And that was when he was prepared to kill all of the gardeners because he didn't think that she liked it. She asks if she had ever given him anything, and he tells her that she gave him everything, and they continue, and he notices, like, so they're dancing, and he knows, like, she's got a fucking dagger and, strapped to her thigh, and he makes the comment that only his wife would come to her own wedding armed to the teeth, and her
Yep.
response is, "Only my husband would know the places I keep my blades in the first place."
Again, he
And
knows her.
exactly, and that's
He
exactly what he
knows
says.
her.
"You forget I know you. I know you have a blade here," and he touches the curve of her arm. And here, gently stroking the pins in her hair that, of course, she fucking sharpened into weapons should she need them. And here, fingers rubbing up her thigh, past the other blade dangerously high, almost to her hip. And she asks him, "That's all you know about me is where I keep my weapons?" And of course he says no. So she basically is like, "Okay, elaborate. How do you fucking know me?"
This was cute.
And he responds, "I know you prefer the other wedding dress, but didn't wear it because you want it to say ours. I know you hate that we're dancing in front of a crowd right now. I know you're hoping a storm will interrupt the ceremony so it can be all over. I know you have nightmares every night, and it kills me that I'm not there to hold you through them the way I was before. So instead, I send whatever I can. Your favorite foods, your favorite flowers. I know you've killed dozens of people you should have that should have rotted in our presence long ago, and I know why you do it, to keep the beast within at bay, to funnel your anger and skills into something that maybe looks sort of like good. I know that because you and me, we are the same shade. I knew it the day you stabbed me through the chest, while our lips were still locked. I knew it when you looked at me with such hatred, such fury, but never fear, not even knowing who I was and what I had done. I knew it when you gave up your life for mine, because for you and only for you, I would do the same. You are the only person who has ever seen any good past all the blood on my hands." Ugh.
Ah, that was cute.
Bitch. Like,
Ditch Oro. Come on. I mean, you got a sweet man in front
how
of you.
how much more does he have to fucking show and lay out there for her to just,
Exactly.
like, he even tells her, "I used to have nightmares, but they stopped when I met you." Hello? Like,
I
what the
know.
fuck?
Soulmates.
Yes. And she knows that he's right, that they're the same, that no one could understand her mistakes the way that he could, and she wasn't sure if it was a good thing. And so he asks, "I know you're still angry. I know you don't yet forgive me. Tell me what to do and I'll do it. Tell me how to fix this." Which was kind of sad because, like, that's like all he wants to do is make her happy.
Right.
And she's just not, like, I don't
There.
know.
She's
Yeah.
not there. She's physically, but not like mentally.
Yeah. Uh, she tells him that she doesn't know, and he tells her not to worry, that it'll be over soon. Of course, she gets snarky and says, "Then what? They all watch as you take me to bed?" To which he replies, "Of course not." And she, "Don't even bother visiting me in my chambers." Um, so Tara and Poppy are like the only ones that are not invited. Um, she still trying to kind of bury her feelings. Like, I think they'll be on good terms by the end of the book. I'll be shocked if they're not at this point. Like, I think it'll
Right.
come out. Um, but she still has doubts, because she thinks about how Grim betrayed her. They betrayed her. They betrayed her mother, and um, what? Okay, hold on. So she's going through her little emotions, and I don't remember what happened after that. But one of Grimm's guards comes, and he whispers something to him. He motions for her to follow. People are beginning to whisper. She has no idea what the guard told him. And so she causes a distraction. A steamy distraction at that and presses him up against the tree and kisses him. He's shocked, like, even his eyes got wide and everything, like, he wasn't expecting any of that to fucking
Oh
happen.
no.
They kind of forget that all these people are watching them, and, so they have their spicy moment, and both of them, like, pretty much growl at each other, "Mine." And, even she's like, "Fuck, where did that come from? Like, that wasn't my
Right.
voice." Like, having this moment. And then you have all the people, like, cheering because they forget that they're in the crowd and everything, and then all these people are like, "Woo." And, um, so she tells him, "Carry me," and they portal out. So, now everybody thinks that the festivities are over, but they don't go back to the castle. They go to a cliffside, and he does make a comment about how convincing that was, and she just immediately asks what the guard says. Um And I don't know if it's described as like he turns her around or he just kind of like points, makes a motion, and she just like turns around to a fuck ton of devastation. The burial site. Now, I think I missed over it. Was it the burial site from the storms, or is it the burial site of her devastation from when
Um,
basically she gave up her life? I don't remember. I think it's when she, like, sacrificed herself for him. I
I
think
I
that
think
was
that's
the bear
when,
I think that's
because that was the burial site they had visited a few weeks ago.
okay.
So yeah, I'm pretty
So,
sure.
yeah, that's what I thought. Um, so the burial site is destroyed. There's dirt and ash everywhere. Um, Grimm's angry, she's upset. Hundreds of graves had been desecrated, and it even says that it had been done quickly and it was perfect timing because it's usually heavily monitored. But with the wedding going on, there really wasn't like much security like in the area. And there's a single fucking snake. So she thinks, obviously, it's the work of a wild thing. I have a feeling it's not.
I don't think it is either.
Um, and so she gets fucking pissed, grabs a star stick, and fucking hightails it out of there. She teleports right to Poppy and Tara. She thinks that it was them that had it done, which I don't think it was, obviously. I
If
really
it's
don't.
a wildling, it's not somebody on that island. It's not part of them.
Yeah.
It's going to be somebody that's no longer with them, like that gave up
Yeah.
that or something. Like,
Like somebody who kinda, like, exiled themselves like the Vinderlin or something,
yeah.
like
Yeah,
or
if
the
it's a
snake
wildling, then
lady.
yeah.
Snake lady. No, I don't think it's her either. Like, I think we're gonna find out something big, like, big, big. Um, but so she gets there, Poppy's crying, she's been crying for hours because they weren't invited, and Tara even makes a comment that, how Poppy was upset. Isla immediately tells him she knows it was them, um, that they killed the Nightbane, they destroyed the grave site, they're the traitors that she was warned about, that, they're the ones that want her dead. Um, she even tells them, killing her parents wasn't enough, that they needed to kill her too. And Tara, once again, tries to tell her that they didn't kill the night. Well, so she tells her the first time that they didn't kill the Nightbane, but she tries to reiterate again that they did not kill her parents and they didn't destroy the gravesite. But Isla is like super livid and she does not listen to them whatsoever.
Her
And then she
emotions got the
tells
better.
Grim that she wants them fucking imprisoned. Like, she's done. She has
Mhm.
fucking had it. She's done. She wants them imprisoned. Of course, Grim doesn't want to. I even think that Grim's like, "No, they didn't do that. Like, they might be assholes and everything, but they didn't they wouldn't do that."
I wonder though if he knows the truth. I wonder if they told him the truth
I hope
because
not. That's
but
another thing that he knows, and that's why she got fucking pissed
but
the first time.
in the first book he has told her I think a few times I'd rather find something out on my own than somebody tell me. So
Yeah.
if he knows, he's not going to tell her because she
Well,
needs to find
and
that out herself. He doesn't
yeah,
want to
and if
be the
it is
person to do that.
yeah, and if it is what I'm afraid that it might be, I wouldn't wanna fucking tell her, "Babe, you fucking killed your parents." Like,
Yeah.
it was an accident, but it was you, obviously. But at the same time, he needs to kind of force Poppy and Tara or pressure them,
Mm.
whatever, to kinda, like, get it done. Stop beating around the bush. Just fucking tell her already.
If it's not her, is it Astria? Like you said, like because she
No,
states,
no, 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 no. See, I think that if it was Astria, she'd be gone, especially because of how much he loves her. How much he loves Isla. He would not let her be around Isla in fear that
but
she
if
would
he
kill
doesn't
her
know,
because, well, yeah, if he doesn't know. Oh, yeah, if he doesn't know.
because in one of the chapters that we've done in like one of the other episodes, she had stated, I can't understand why he chose her. Like, why did he make that decision?
Yeah, I don't know.
And that she was looking for him. So
Yeah,
maybe it was her.
I don't know. I like really wasn't even I didn't like kind of how nasty she got. Like she even makes the comments, does my word mean nothing here? Am I a ruler simply by name? Is my throne just a prop? Does this marriage mean anything to you?
She threw it in his face
Which
after
yes.
everything.
Yes. Yeah. So of course he's like, "Okay, if that's what you wish, then so be
And
it."
like he's torn. He was torn doing
Yeah.
that.
Yes, and that's why I think that he does not believe that it was them. Um, but I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know either.
So obviously we end that chapter with them getting locked the fuck up because why not?
Yeah. Because it for some reason it makes sense to her. So going into the next one, Ren does tell her that she was making a mistake. So even Ren knows, like believes. But
I'm so sketchy about her. I
yeah.
don't know
I'm
how
sketchy
I
about
feel about her
anybody
yet.
anymore. Anybody anymore I'm still sketchy about.
I think I don't know. I'm probably wrong about her and like right about Astria. Because it would be way too easy for Ren to be like a snake charmer. It's like it's too fucking obvious,
Yeah.
like, that it could be her because she trains the snakes, and all these snakes are doing these weird fucking things, so,
Right.
hello, all signs point to fucking Ren, and it's not gonna be her.
Right. Um, but Isla, she believed that she's finally finding the strength to rid her realm of those who'd rise against her. Nobody's trying to rise against her. Like her realm's trying to still get back on their feet and
Yeah.
learn to take care of themselves and nobody's trying to go against her, like rise against her. Uh no one knew though that she was on borrowed time and to change her fate and save them all. She then goes back to the blacksmith again and upon arrival tells her it wasn't time yet. And I believe that was his decision. Like it wasn't time for his decision to come down. But Isla just wanted to know if he had a device that can track something that was lost. There was once a device made from a ruler's blood, but it was lost along with the ruler's ability. I want to know which ruler. I am
Like, I have
curious.
a suspicion on what realm it could be.
I feel
Like, who
like
might have a
it's
flair for
Skylane.
that?
I feel like it would be Skylane.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even
Uh,
have, like, a little idea.
yeah. There was only one other way, but it was part of an ancient, dangerous art, the Skyres. Baron tells her she'll get herself killed, but Isla was dying anyways, and she wanted that information. But using the Skyres has a cost, and it usually is their soul, which we pretty much know from the Agora. Right? Did I pronounce that
Augur.
right? Augur.
Augur.
That's what I don't have it written in my notes, so it's like it's not in front of me. So I'm trying to like too many words to memorize. The blacksmith was not able to tell her about them because he didn't know much about them. It was a lost art, even in the other world. If taught wrong, it has dangerous results, which we kind of learned that with the prophet guy. Like that's I'm pretty much what he did, and he made sure nobody watched him. So it's very, very secrecy too. Baron does tell her that it was best to not even try, but then proceeds to give her half of a marking of a tracking flare. But then he also tells her that it wouldn't work for what she needs it for because the object needs to be bound with or onto a portion of what she's looking for. And since she lost the ring, she's not going to be able to find it. But the markings help each other, each piece call to the others. So like calls to like. And there was no easy way for her to find the ring. The markings now that or the markings now held Isla's curiosity and thought maybe there was something else that she could use that could help her. So back in her room, she decides to write on the parchment, "Do you know how to draw skyres?" And then I say whoever's writing back tells her yes because she believes it's Aurora, but we don't have that confirmation that it is physically Aurora writing back. Like we don't know that yet. It's just
Hmm.
speculation, pretty much. But Isla knew better than anyone that she couldn't trust Aurora. She knew she'd be betrayed again, but she still asked her if she could be taught, like if she would teach her. So Aurora, or whoever's writing back, told her yes, and it was because she wanted redemption. I don't believe that, but I guess we'll see where that all takes us. But I'm
Yeah,
telling
I don't
you,
think so either.
this is a whole Harry Potter Tom Riddle thing. Like he was being friendly with Tom Riddle, and look who Tom Riddle turned out like that whole situation turned out to be.
Mhm.
So we can't trust who's ever writing on the other side. Isla believed there had to be another way to find the portal because she believed that she was missing something. So later that night, she goes to 3 different towns hunting for people, then ends up on the rooftop where Saoirse was waiting for her with her usual goodies. Uh, she didn't like any of
That's
the names she
exciting.
was given. Yeah. She didn't like any of the names that she was given from them. She believed she fell short of them. And then this is like her like mind kind of playing that she was a ruler of Wildling who didn't live among her people, a ruler of Starling who had given her position up since she wasn't the best choice, a wife of Nightshade she would likely betray because it made sense to kill Grimm to fulfill the prophecy if they were all going to die anyways. My opinion, it doesn't make sense for him to die, but
Yeah.
guess that's your decision. Saoirse tells Isla to not underestimate herself. They were words her sister told her when trying to stop the landslide that would wipe out their village. But Saoirse was curious why Isla was doing this, why she cared so much for them. Isla said it was for redemption for things she's done, and it like brought her back to the whole Aurora thing because that's what Aurora said that she was doing. by helping
Yeah.
her with the markings. Isla goes to reply to what Saoirse was talking about when she realized she couldn't form words. She knew something was wrong and needed to leave. Her limbs were useless. Buckling beneath her, she fell over onto the roof. Out of all the gifts she's consumed from Saoirse, this one had been poisoned. And let me tell you, this next part was some weird type of shit. Like, I don't even know what to think. Like, this was some weird ass shit.
Yeah.
And in my mind is like, what
Yep.
am I
Yep.
reading? What am I? Are they a cult? Would you consider that a cult? Like a ritual, a
So
cult and ritual type thing? Like
they would be like,
because they follow their prophecy, like they're prophet followers, is what
yeah,
we
they're
learn.
prophet followers. It's not so much a cult as a better things are coming. We have to, well, I guess it would be kind of a cult because I'm pretty sure that there has been a cult where like people thought that they were doing the right thing and like offed themselves. So essentially, this is like ensuring that that prophecy is going to
Happens.
be fulfilled. Yeah. Like if we do
But
this now, then, so and so is coming or whatever.
I didn't like this part of the chapter. Like I didn't like this. But let's get into it. So Isla wakes up on a tiny island surrounded by a river covered. She was covered in sweat. Around her was a group of people that she had recognized. So everybody that she was talking to when she'd go to the bar and have a drink or, just hang out with Saoirse when she wasn't hunting people. They all knew exactly who she was, and Isla wondered what they wanted for her. They left her with her weapons, but they had taken her star stick. They had no intentions of killing her, but have waited hundreds of years for her. It was their destiny. It was written. They were all prophet followers. Each one digs their sword into the ground and wants her to accept their gifts. At this point, we don't know what their gifts are until a little bit later. But Isla was so confused about what was going on, and I literally wrote in my notes, "Girl, me too." Like, I'm confused about what's going on here. Each one of them was buzzing with excitement, like something was going to happen. Saoirse tells Isla she wished she could have read his teachings, talking about the prophet, that the prophet talked a lot about her, said that at the end of the world, a girl will be born from life and death. The girl will either destroy the world or save it. She would either be a curse or a remedy. Saoirse believes Isla was the one that was promised, and they were chosen to help her and offer themselves to her in hopes they are worthy. Then we have Reagan, who offers his sword to Isla, who she takes it, not knowing what was going to happen. Reagan smiles, then ran himself through the blade. Again, oh, what is going on? Isla didn't want to kill him, but something like satisfaction had flickered in her chest, um, making her feel like she gained something from it. Maybe something like because she's power, like she's drawing from it. And then Grimm's words from their wedding came to mind, and I have that quoted. Um, which is he was saying, I know you've killed dozens of people who should have rotted in our prisons long ago, and I know why you do it to keep the beast within at bay. So at that point, like that's what she was thinking. Because she knew there was a beast inside of her that enjoyed taking life, but that was not who she was. Sorry, but if you're feeling satisfaction, I'm pretty sure that is who you are. Like,
Yeah.
um, looking at the rest of the group, they were all smiling. Saoirse told Isla to not be concerned, that she will take them somewhere else, somewhere better. But Isla just wanted her star stick. She wanted no part of this. She wanted to pull her necklace to call Grim, but she knew it would pretty much give them what they wanted. Kind of, in a sense, because it wasn't from her, but they would all be dead. They still pushed forward, insisting Isla kill them, but she still refused. Saoirse states that Isla was everything he said she would be before she struck, making it so Isla had to fight back. Isla believed she could just subdue him long enough for her to get the starstick and leave. So two men came at her and she was fighting two swords. She kept telling them that she didn't want to kill them, but Saoirse kept insisting, saying it doesn't need to be difficult. The death wouldn't be permanent. So she was able to disable one of them by throwing her stars into his shin, and the other she pushed backwards. But when he fell back, his head cracked when it hit the rock. She had killed him. So there's two down. The other man then came back and swung his sword at her, but when she fought back, he didn't deflect her blow, causing her to kill him. So there was three of them now. So then it's just down to her and Saoirse. She tried telling Saoirse one last time to go because that she wasn't going to kill her, but she tells Isla she will. Saoirse then uses her shadows to turn her into her shape, like she turns her shadows into her shape, like of herself, which was a fine-tuning of Nightshade powers that hasn't even seen Grim do anything. Like she hasn't seen him do that. So even if he can't, I wonder if he can though. Like that made me wonder, can he like turn his shadows into a figment of him? Pretty much.
Kinda like
She then
how Peter Pan can manipulate his
Yeah.
shadow, make it do things, and
Yeah, but it's like this one is like it became one. Like they're
yeah.
separate, but it became one at the same time because Isla then takes her sword and runs it right through the center of the shadow, causing it to drop. But when she looks at Saoirse, her robes were soaked in blood in the same spot she had stabbed the shadow. Isla went to try and stop the bleeding, but Saoirse tells her, "Thank you for this honor," before going still. And then it's like, what the fuck just happened on this
Yeah.
little island? What happened? So she then turns to grab her starstick, looks toward the sky, and screams. Like that was, I don't know. Like I didn't know how to like process all of that. So going into the next one, she's driving back into her room covered in blood, and Grandma's instantly there. She ignores him, going straight to the bathroom, but he asks her who on all she told him was like it didn't matter because they were dead anyways. And then can we talk about how Grim then portals her clothes away, like since they're all bloody, and then proceeds to wash the blood off of her without further questioning? Like he left it at that answer and just took care of her. Let her process it all on her own.
He didn't push her for information, didn't demand it, he
Mm-mm.
didn't do anything. He just kinda let her.
Have that moment to herself, but also
Mhm.
taking care of her to help her.
Mhm.
Um, Next it jumps and she's going to visit the blacksmith again, asking, and he asks her, wait, oh, she goes and asks him if he had changed his mind because at this point, she's getting tired of all the killing. Like she doesn't want to kill him either. He has not, but she has and holds her wrists out to him to release the bracelets. She was done being powerless, but according to Baron, she's never been powerless a day in her life. That brings me back to like, did like your theory, like if she did kill her parents, did they do something to suppress her powers or make her believe that she could connect to her powers, but they were there? Like she just had to have somebody unlock them.
Yeah.
All right, this part I struggled trying to like figure this part out for my notes because It jumps to her in the library and she's reading a tomb when Astria joins her. She knew a tracking Skyer wouldn't help her, but she wondered if there was another one that would, so that's what she was researching. Then the two of them kind of like joke around for a little while, and Isla was curious as to why Astria was there and if Grimm sent her to find her. But Astria asked, "Does it look like I don't read?" And then we find out, she does read and she'll read just about anything. And then we find out that there are books in the library that from Nightshades that Nightshade authors had written about fantasies of Grimm.
Shared a whole entire fan fiction section of Grimm stories.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. So that means Astra's read quite a bit of them.
Dirty girl.
um, and then she knew that she couldn't ask Astria about the Skyers because she would go back and tell Grimm. She didn't want him knowing. She was looking for something that would eat at her soul because I'm pretty sure he would, at that point, like I said, that would be the point where he would try to stop her. Like, that they would find another way. She then remembered that the augur told her to learn the truth of who she is and her path would become clear. And this takes me to my little theory for the last chapter. Isla changed the subject to her father. She wanted to know how he came to learn about being immune to the curses. And then we learn, like, she believes he fell asleep. If she remembers correctly, he had fallen asleep outside, and when he woke up, it was night out, and he realized it didn't kill him. We do learn that her father was interested in the curses of other realms, talking about them for hours, and that he did not envy, or he didn't like wildlings and starlings. Was it starlings?
He
Wildling.
he pitied them because of their
Yeah,
curses.
it was starlings was the other one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because I didn't write that part. I just did it from memory. Um, but he did envy Grimm's flair because he always wanted to travel, wanted to know what was beyond their borders, the Nightshade borders. We do learn that he likes maps, that he had searched maps from before curses because there wasn't many after the curses had started because nobody could travel. You couldn't have everybody below deck at night. um, he even made his own. Not quite sure how he did that unless he already had the star stick or the mirror plays a big part that we learn later on.
Yeah, there's something about that fucking mirror.
I think it's
Like, what if it's a hidden door behind it?
that's that's my theory. Asteria wasn't sure why he did anything he did, but he knew he hated his role as general and always wanted to leave. When he was 8, he built a boat out of driftwood and tried to set sail in the middle of the night, not knowing how big the waves were, nearly drowning. And his poor mom's in the window, watching him just out there fighting for his life to come back to shore as she's crying because there's nothing she could do. Isla does ask her if she had any of his maps, but Astria said they would all be in his home, meaning the castle, because he never kept his personal items in the castle once he became Grimm's general. So, going to the castle, her father's old home, now hers, Isla was told the main bedroom was on the top floor. Upon arriving at the door, it had no door handle. And this is what makes me think something's in there because he had it to where there was no door handle.
Oh,
And then
yeah, and even, like,
when she steps in, everything's covered into shadows until she's fully into this room and the shadows drop. Because she says at
yep.
first glance the room was nothing special. There was just a mirror, a bed, and a wardrobe.
Well, a lot of it is too what we find out in the next chapter of um you know, his map and shit like that. So,
What was he hiding?
I thought maybe it was the island, like, he discovered something on the
Oh,
island.
I have, it's not nothing big, but I believe the mirror in this room plays a big part, if not the portal. Those are my two. The portal is my theory, but I definitely has to play a big part. But once she was inside, the shadows disappeared and it showed rows and rows of books, letters, and maps. I think she's gonna have to like search what books he has in there and see those letters. Like, so I'm kind of hoping we get that. There were a few shapes on the maps on the wall that she believed were unexplored areas, the largest being far beyond Nightshade. It was a large piece of land separated from the rest of the map by a row of tiny islands. She believed it was special. It was the only uncharted body of land with a name. The name was Isla. Now, is it really named Isla or is it a clue? Like he knew she'd need answers later on. Is he letting
Maybe
her
he
know?
knew maybe he knew about the prophecy that she was, like, the promise, you know?
Because they left her with they left her with something special. So does he know? So my two ways is it a
Everything was
clue?
written, so how much of the prophecy did they know? Like, okay, she
Who
was
knows
left the
all of
star
it?
stick. She was left the star stick. She had to have been left the star stick for a specific reason.
So
It
did
took her to Nightshade first before, like, or not first, but like it took her. She didn't even mean to go there.
it took her
And
to
it just
Nightshade
like fucking
first?
took her there.
I'm
Not
pretty
before
sure
Aurora. She was already traveling to Celeste and stuff before she ended up on Nightshade.
that it was first. But my I wonder if her parents knew though. And like it's not the island's name because I can't say much on what I want to say because it's in
Isla
your
does mean
chapter.
islands. Yeah, and Isla
Yes,
does mean
but
islands, but
is it a clue? Because when she's there and she finds a certain object that Tara and Poppy brought back, is it a clue? And not so much the name of the place. Like there's an answer
do you think
there.
they knew? Do you think they knew?
If they know the prophecy, I believe they do, and they were setting it up. That's why I believe her name is on that island because I think he wanted her to. There's something there that she's supposed to find, and that's my theory. I'm gonna stick to that theory. I could be wrong, but I believe it's a clue for her to look there, and she will find answers. Or those are the answers to who she really is. That's her path to find out who she is.
Think she's reincarnated of somebody?
I wouldn't know who.
Neither.
Violet?
The only other person I would
It'd be Violet. It would
one
have to be Violet. It would have to be Violet because since your husband ruins the one spoiler, it can't be her.
I would have thought her, but yeah.
Violet makes sense though because Celeste killed or Aurora killed Violet. So did Violet come back as Isla for Isla to break the curses to reverse
Oh, everything
the
coming full
curse?
circle. Kinda
Because
like
it
a full
was
circle event.
nobody knew what the curse was until Isla at the end is because Aurora
Mhm.
killed Violet, killed her best friend. So it would make sense if Isla was Violet reincarnated to reverse the curses by killing Aurora back.
Yep.
That makes sense. So was Violet also the other half wildling, half nightshade? Because there was somebody else. There was somebody else. We just don't
There
know
was,
who.
because there were
Remlar.
stories.
Remlar, I think, was the one that told her. Or was it
Vinderland.
the
Vinderland. It was the Vinderland. He heard stories of people that could do life and death
and that's why he chose her.
or could
I thought
walk the
somebody
line of
else
life and death or something.
did the shit, what are they called? The ones in the ice.
Vinderland.
No, 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 no. The ones in the block of ice. What the fuck are they called?
Goals.
The oracles. Yeah, did they mention something about I know they mentioned something about a Wildling and Sunling haven't been together
Yeah.
for a while, but did they mention something about Nightshade and Wildling?
Somebody did.
Yeah, somebody I remember. I think it was Remblar. I want to say it was Remblar.
Maybe.
But that's my theory on the island. And it helps when you go through your
I like
chapter
having
here.
I like having theories though.
I like these
Hopefully,
too.
I'm hoping we're getting close to the end of the book. Like this is what we have left.
I know we're halfway through.
And
So no, like I said,
all right.
my theory about the island kind of comes into play with your chapter here, this last chapter that we end on, because of what she finds on the island. Because she really didn't like go too in depth of the island. So we haven't explored everything.
Yeah.
But the island in the mirror and Isla being written on that map, those three things, key parts, I believe. Key
Yeah.
parts.
For sure.
And I believe her parents know something, or knew something, I should say.
I wouldn't doubt it at all. All right. So we go into this chapter. Isla is hella confused right now. I mean, why would her father have an island with her name on it on a map when he had lived there way before um in her family home, whatever, before he had even met her mother, had a baby, named her Isla, and obviously she thinks that, okay, Isla means island, maybe it's just a coincidence. But at the same time, perhaps it just doesn't mean anything at all. But what if it did? She goes, she continues to go through his things. And so she decides to remove one of the pieces of map and takes it with her, stuffs it in her pockets. And I thought it was hilarious that, he had books everywhere. Like he liked books, whatever, but he had this book about wildlings. And it talked about how they have fangs that curve out of their mouths like pythons or claws like panthers, and they drink blood
Yeah.
out of buckets. And so, she had to giggle to herself, wondering if that's like actually what he fucking thought that they were before he ever met her mom.
That's probably what
But I
he
was
like
like,
he was probably preparing himself to what he was gonna get himself into when he goes and visits the Newlands.
yeah,
Like, okay, I gotta watch out for these with fangs. And
yeah.
maybe that's how him
Um,
that maybe that's how her parents met, is like he's prepared for this woman to come at him with fangs and stuff. And she's just a normal woman. Like,
yeah. Um, She remembers what the prophet followers had said before their death. A girl will be born. She will either destroy the world or save it. And so she feels like the map has to mean something. And there is only one way to find out. So, being the little daredevil that she fucking is, she grabs the fucking map, she takes the star stick, and she tries to portal herself to the fucking islands. She tries to imagine them, visualize it. She draws her puddle of stars. She falls right into the middle of the fucking sea. Salt water, just fucking hacking, like She royally fucked herself. So she uses the star stick again to try to get to land, to which she does. She makes it to this little beach. She does not land delicately whatsoever. I think she like falls on her fucking face or something. Um, it takes her, I think it said 4 more tries before she's able to land on a wider coastline. And so at this point, we find out that the rest of the islands had been barren and lifeless, but this one could have completely passed as a wildling newland. There were forests that rose high, and she could hear squawks and growls, chitters of insects. She could feel endless gleaming threads reaching toward her like fingers. The island was alive. And she had also expected like this group of people to approach her. Obviously, it's empty. It was just her, except for animals and insects, things like that. So by this point, it's been a few days since she had her bracelets removed. She's been hesitant at this point, up to this point, to use her powers since they had been buried for so long now. I mean, it's been a few months or whatever, weeks have passed at this point,
Mhm.
that she's afraid that they would kind of like rush up in an uncontrollable wave. So she kind of just takes advantage of being on the island with nobody. She has no worries. She's not gonna hurt anybody. And she decides that she's going to kind of tap into that connection with Oro and tries to fly. It was a little rocky, but she does it. She gets up in the air. Her landing was questionable, but she gets there. And she can't believe what she's seeing. There's fruit everywhere hanging from the trees. Um, on the forest was heavy with it. It's even described that the ground smelled sweet from the fruit that had fallen and broke open. And she could just reach up and grab them, eat whatever she wants, and she grabs one that she recognizes from when she's a child. Poppy had fed it to her, but then Tara told her that the tree had died basically because of her powerlessness. Now, I don't know if Tara actually said that to her or if it was just implied that the tree had died and Isla just kind of like, "Oh, I'm powerless. It's all my fault, blah blah blah," and just blamed herself for it.
Could this be where Lynx is from? Because he's the only one of his kind on the Newlands?
Maybe. Or maybe only so many things came over from the other world with them? See, I don't know. I would assume he's, like, ancient, like, the snake lady and Remlar and stuff like
That's why I still
that, with
believe
being
maybe
the
he's a
only one of his
person.
kinds, yeah. I don't know, like, that would be weird as shit. Um, so she begins to think that, obviously this was a lie about the tree, everything else was a lie. Why wouldn't this be a lie? Like, why wouldn't they lie to her? Um, she's even more confused, like, how Grimm just doesn't know about this. But, I mean, he couldn't travel anywhere, and obviously that means his father didn't know about it, and it wasn't something that was in his arsenal to hide things or whatever. Um so she then decides, she's got all of this fruit, all of this food that she's going to weave baskets with vines and fill them with that fruit and portals back to like I don't know if it's several, I think it said several villages or whatever. And kind of just leaves them on doorsteps, and she does it until she gets tired. We even see like her encounter with a boar. I thought that was gonna be fucking bad, but that doesn't like, nothing comes of it, it, like, runs and disappears into the forest or whatever, and just da da da. Um, so she basically finishes up there, and then we kinda jump a little bit, and she's back at the castle, She wakes up that night shivering from another nightmare, and of course, there's a fucking snake curled up at the foot of her bed. She was a little confused because she hadn't gotten anything from Ren in a while, so she didn't know where it came from. Of course, Link's, well, fucking good are you? There's a snake in my bed, and you're just sleeping in your fucking corner.
Right?
Um,
But
she
can he see it? Because,
Nobody else could.
yeah. So could he see it?
Yeah.
Maybe he couldn't see it or sense it, you know?
Yeah. She tries to catch it too fast. It gets away. It slithers out of her room underneath her door, and so she creeps into the hall and tries to follow it. Um, she thinks that even though the traders had been captured, she figures like they would stop basically. So she decides to follow it anyways because serpents are relentless and it seemed like they were trying to lead her somewhere. So she followed them until she turned a corner and nearly crashed into a wall adorned with an intricate mirror. I think the mirror is going to play a huge thing. Like there's something about it. And she sees her reflection. She's covered in snakes. They're wrapped around her arms, her stomach, her throat. They were kinda, like, squeezing her throat, so, like, is she seeing her death by snakes? Is she seeing, I mean, what is it about the snakes? Are they just, like, loving on her, like, just being and she thinks that they're squeezing her neck?
Is this her other form? Like in the other world?
Like, everybody has a balance type thing, and this
Like
would be,
this
like,
is
her
who
over
she would
there?
be? Like, yeah, that would be like who she'd be in the other world. Like some
I
type of
like
like
that.
snake queen.
I like that. Like a true wildling, would that have been how she would have been raised over there to kind of
Thrive
take
better.
her powers and just be the persona of a wildling, basically. So then as soon as she gasped from the vision, they're gone. They weren't on the floor anymore. They just weren't there. And she starts to back away. She's absolutely confused as to what the fuck's going on. And
Lo and behold.
there's fucking Grim
He
right behind her again, everywhere she goes.
had a reason this time though.
Yes, yes, he did. He did. He does tell her he's dressed all up in his fucking armor and he tells her that the Stormfinch is singing. She was also hearing screeching while all of this was going on. So then she realizes that's, where it was coming from. And so it said, so she gets stressed and she slips the sucker ring on her finger. And it was supposed to say she gets dressed and slips the second ring on her finger. Oh, talk to
Oops.
text, doing notes is not 100% okay, but it's fine. We'll make it work. They still don't have Wraith. Like he's still recovering. He can't fly. So Grim portals them to the locations just outside one of the villages, and like he's not even like worried about himself, and he's portaling villagers to safety. And then you have all of these fucking tornadoes just start touching down everywhere, and that starts wiping out their power. Like there's nothing that he can do. There's people that are screaming and they can't get to safety or anything, but there's literally nothing that they can do. They have no powers whatsoever right now. And they so many more people had died with them not being able to help. Um and so they get through the storm, and Um, that whole entire week, it states that there was a new storm every day. The season had started in earnest each time she attempted to capture part of it, but she never got close to a tornado again. Most of the tempests raged far above, and with Wraith still injured, she couldn't go that high. Her scaling ability wouldn't work thanks to the metal. And so she's feeling really kind of like helpless with this. And um, so she goes back to her little piece of paper or whatever she is communicating with, takes the feather and tells it to teach her. Obviously, now we're going after the Skyers. She wants to fucking learn.
Could the orb that Baron gave her help? Should it like because it's shade made and that's what's falling out of the sky, could it help her
It's
find
possible.
the source?
It's possible.
Because it doesn't say that she hasn't had the orb on her. Finally got some good theories though. I like our little theories.
I know, me too.
All right. So, thank you for joining, or excuse me, thank you for watching or listening to Chapters Over Coffee. Join us next week where we go over pages 199 through 251.